Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video I'm going to talk about the ongoing Deck of Fate event. Let's explore this a little bit. Get it? Explorer, Deck of Fate. But yeah, let's explore this a little bit and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions. I think I've made a conclusion on this event, but let's go over it here. So basically this event we're going to be getting extra resources by upgrading artifacts and upgrading champions, so leveling champions up, and then based on how many points you get from that, you can flip a card, and each card has rewards. Each card costs 1,000 points to acquire, and then from these cards we get rewards. So let's see what rewards we're looking at here. So we can see here we're getting a kind of a different event this time. Usually they're like shards and books and other kind of rewards, more standard rewards, but then these ones are actually pretty cool. We're looking at some epic kill stroke. So kill stroke artifacts are basically artifacts you can get from the clan shop. They're actually the top tier reward for a clan shop, which is pretty good, I guess. Crit damage and speed, although for endgame players crit damage and speed is worse than I guess worse than like a cruel set, for example. 20 crit damage is not worth as much as like 5% ignore damage. And then we have the divine speed set, which is pretty good. Of course, it's a better speed set. And we got a couple pieces there. And then we get a defiant set, which is one of the better sets from the Forge Pass. So now we're mixing in some Forge Pass gear into this Deck of Fate event, right? So we're getting, this gets a little bit interesting because this is a really good two-piece set, but it's only accessible from the Forge Pass. So for like free-to-play players that don't spend money in the game, you won't be able to get too many of these pieces. So on one side, it's good that we're getting extra pieces. On the other side of the coin is that it's bad because we won't have too many of these pieces to pair up with that are good. However, I say this, quick note about like gear quality and such. If you're newer into the game, your gear quality will definitely not be as good. So having 6-star epic, 6-star legendary, 6-star mythic gear, it's probably going to be better than whatever gear you have. So any piece you get from this event is going to be good. So from an early or mid-game player, any piece here will be good. So we'll keep that in mind. So even though this is, it's going to be a limited piece for most non-spending players, it's still probably going to be better than most other pieces. So we'll keep that in mind. Righteous, it's a slightly downgraded speed set, which is always still good with a little bit of resistance. Now, resistance is not playing a huge part right now, but it's a small trade-off, 2% speed for 40 resistance. It can come in handy, although like I said, resistance is not a huge part of the game right now, but it's still a pretty good set. So we got a couple pieces there. So in total, we're looking at 3, 6, 9, 12 pieces, epic pieces of pretty good gear. Like pretty good, but nothing really insane. Like there's no bolster set here. Like nothing really insane, right? Bolster set is probably the Forge Pass set that you want to see. So yeah, moving on, we got some 5-star glyphs. That's cool. These are probably like the most useful glyphs, most likely. Accuracy, speed for sure. Resistance, not so much, maybe, but not bad. Still probably one of the better ones. We got some legendary kill stroke gear, legendary divine speed gear, legendary defiant gear, and legendary righteous gear. Totaling 8 pieces of legendary gear, 6-star gear. Again, the 6-star legendary gear will probably be better than most gear that you have if you're in the early or mid game. So if you're lucky enough to get any of these pieces, you're probably looking pretty good in terms of getting a reasonable upgrade. We got some 6-star glyphs here. Again, these are good, although farmable from faction wars. They're always nice to have here. Based on like the value from like events and stuff, let's hop out quickly. And just based on like values of what Plarium values these 6-star glyphs at, we can see like right here, this 6-star attack glyph was probably worth 1,000 energy, 1,000 energy on average. So you can tell like by those 3 6-star. These ones are some of the better ones, so these are probably worth, you know, at least 1,000 energy each. And then finally, probably the biggest prize from this whole Deck of Fate event is these mythic pieces. So we're looking at 6 mythical pieces, 2 righteous, 2 killstroke, and 2 cruel sets. So the cruel set is going to be the prize here. Like outside of any of these other pieces, only the cruel set really makes a difference for like end game players. Everything else, it's like, okay, it's not that big of a deal, although divine speed is actually very good too. However, killstroke is already purchasable in shop at a pretty good rate. I mean, not rate, but like you can get straight up 6-star killstroke gear here. You can get 5 pieces every week, basically, if this rolls killstroke. Of course, not every clan is going to be at this level, but you get the idea, right? So it's not like super rare. Mythical gear, like, okay, like you can get one extra roll on it. It's not the end of the world, right? But I don't think a lot of people amass a big ton of this gear. Same thing with the righteous gear. You're not going to have too many good pieces of righteous gear most of the time. And the thing is with this set is like you're either looking for speed or resistance as the desired substat rolls. So if you miss those rolls, these pieces will instantly be suboptimal. Like if you roll damage on this piece, it's going to be suboptimal because you're looking for speed. You basically look at this set like a speed set, and most of the time when you have a speed set that doesn't roll speed, it's probably not going to be that good. But since this is a righteous set, it's a forge set, you'll probably keep whatever piece it is regardless of substat rolls because we just don't have too many of them. The cruel set, it really is huge because you use this all the time on all your nukers. So this is the real prize here, the 2 pieces of cruel mythical gear. Going down here, we got like some extra goodies, but the odds of getting these triple boxes to get some of these extra rewards is really low. Plarium actually sneakily only gave us 9 epic cards this time. Previous Deck of Fate, they gave us 10 epic cards. So they removed 1 epic card from the overall pool, which actually drastically reduces our chances of getting 3 in a row. But obviously if you get lucky, you get some pretty nice prizes here. Yeah, a quick note about here from HA Gaming. Saphira actually spotted that this was actually reduced, so the actual point value of these are reduced roughly, I believe he said like 12% or 13%. So everything's costing about 13% more. However, it's kind of offset by the fact that both of these are really good efficient events. So in terms of like which is more efficient, usually one method is more efficient than the other, but in this Deck of Fate, both are quite efficient. So you can level up gear to 16 or take your champions up to 5 or 6. It costs you about 75 level 16s to get everything, to get all 40 cards, which is about 100 to 125 million silver, depending how lucky you are or unlucky you are. So you can do that, or you can mix up a little bit with the training. But the big thing is, I want to point out to you guys that none of this reward is going towards any kind of fusion. So this is the big thing that I think Plarium is trying to do here. They're trying to basically empty you of resources going into the next fusion, because the fusion currently is ending. So right now we're in the 1 or 1.5 week lull between fusions, and this is probably the biggest thing, right? So if you're going for this event, so this is the thing that I wanted to talk about. If you're going for this event, you have to have resources that you're willing to spend that you will not be able to recoup back in terms of like fusion ready resources. So in the past, you can convert like silver into like shards and other things, but basically those can be used for future fusions. However, in this event, it totally drains your silver and chickens, both fusion resources, and it drains it for non-fusion resources. So keep that in mind when you guys are trying to participate in this event. I'm not saying it's not a good event. It's actually a good event, but I think it's good event for certain players, and I think that the amount of players that will find this event very beneficial to actually not be as large as you might think. So I think my general advice here is, if you are an endgame player, you probably would go for this event just to have a chance at getting this legendary 6-star gear as well as the mythical gear, just because the energy spend to get these pieces would probably be, you know, pretty expensive, right? You're still looking at maybe 15-20,000 energy worth of, you know, top end gear here. So it's still kind of worth it if you have the silver and chickens to convert. Usually people have excess chickens if you're super late game. Silver, maybe it's hit or miss. But for early game or mid game players, I would say would avoid or not actively participate in this event. Of course, if you have things to upgrade or champions to upgrade, sure, use them here, but just be aware that you're using resources that you could use for the next fusion into this event that you won't get back. So make sure you guys are prepared for that. Whether it's good for you, it's probably going to be good for you because 6-star legendary gear, 6-star mythic gear will be good for most early or mid game accounts. Also keep in mind, if you guys are low on chickens, there is no summon event or champion chase event to take advantage of when you guys are pulling, if you guys need to pull shards to build chickens. So that's something else that you need to keep in mind from an efficiency standpoint. And I wanted to make a quick note that in the past I have gone kind of crazy on these Deck of Fate event, basically chasing for some high-end resources that we don't really see too often. For example, I went pretty crazy for like the big soul stones, as well as like multiple sacreds and all that stuff. So basically what I'm saying is like, I can justify that basically by saying like, if you high roll a soul stone, it's a huge boost for your account. So if you get like a 4 to 6 star, one of your meta champions or one of your main champions, it's a huge boost to your account. Whereas if you get one lucky roll on this, it's actually not that huge of a boost to your account, at least not for my account personally. So that's kind of what I'm thinking in terms of like for my own account. I'm not super gung-ho about this event, even though I probably will end up going for it because I don't value silver too highly for my account because I have lots of silver personally and I have lots of chickens. So and I will have lots of resources to do any fusion that comes up. But I'm not super pumped about it because the ability to high roll any of this gear is not that big, and if it was a high roll, it won't be super impactful for my account. For example, if I get like a quad speed divine speed piece, sure, that'll be great, but would it be better? Would I have two speed pieces, divine speed pieces that are better than my current existing speed pieces? Maybe not. Same thing with a really strong cruel piece. Will it like transform my account? Probably not. Not as much as a high roll from a big stone like this, or a really impactful legendary from a sacred shard, for example. Although the primal shards, I will say that these have the ability to high roll, but not currently. I'll probably talk about my strategy in another video, but for these, I recommend saving them for now because I think their high roll potential is very high for the future, not right now. Anyways, to summarize, I wanted to stress that if you guys are actively pursuing this, make sure you guys are aware that you guys are using resources that won't return a lot of resources back for the upcoming fusion. So make sure you guys are aware of how many resources you have going into the next fusion. Secondly, it's not like an insane event. Like, yes, you're getting a lot of gear, but the odds of you rolling something good and having complementary pieces in your stash already is very low, especially if you're free to play or if you don't buy the Forge Pass. If you're a spender and you buy a Forge Pass, you definitely probably have resources anyways to complete this event. So these would probably be really good pieces for you because in terms of energy expenditure for like 6-piece legendaries and 6-piece mythical pieces from like hard 10 dungeons, it's actually going to be very expensive. So if you feel like spending the energy is more worthwhile than, for example, spending chickens or silver or whichever is easier, then you can decide whether this is worth it for you. But I think for most late game players, this is probably going to be worth it if you are okay swallowing the silver cost, since chickens I don't think is a big deal for most late game players. Personally, I'm probably going to end up doing this, but like I said, I'm not going to be like super hyped about it, but I'm probably going to end up doing this just because the odds of getting these 6-star legendary pieces and then having the small chance of them being somewhat of an upgrade is probably still worth it for my account. But I just want to lay that caution out for most people out there. Anyways, I hope you guys liked the video. Let me know what you guys think about what I think. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this event and what you guys are planning on doing. Do you guys think it's insane? Do you guys not so hyped about it? Yeah, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.